us. Whoever you are, you're one of us. If you're Irish, this is the place for you.
Somebody stole my girl, somebody stole my pal, somebody came and took her away. She didn't even say she was leaving the kisses I love so. He's getting now, I know, and I know that she would come to me if she could see a broken-hearted, lonesome pal. Somebody stole my girl.
Until midnight, you're with Thanks for the Memory on Southern FM 88.3. 88.3, the station that sounds good to me. And we heard that opening bracket there, the Andrews Sisters from 1940 and the Woodpecker Song. Then Ruby Murray, and I know Declan Foley, who does our Irish program on a Monday night, the Celtic Mix, would really love hearing Ruby Murray. And if you're Irish, come into the parlour, bigorra. And then we heard Billy Cotton's band with Alan Breeze, and the song written back in 1918 by Leo Wood, and Somebody Stole My Girl. Well, welcome along to the program tonight, another 4-hour journey down memory lane. Alex Hehr this side of the microphone, and I hope you're enjoying it wherever you are, sitting with your feet up, a cup of coffee or something a little stronger perhaps, with the time at 9.5 minutes after 8, 88.3.
Think of your lungs as a balloon. Now, think of this balloon trapped in a vice. You know the feeling of an asthma attack, but do you know how to control your asthma? The Asthma Foundation can help you with your management plan to keep your asthma under control. Join the foundation now. Call 9853-5666. Country callers 1-800-645-130. A call that could one day save your life.
Until midnight, you're with Alex Hehr, and Thanks for the Memory on the great Southern Sounds of Melbourne, Southern FM 88.3.
Vilja, don't leave me alone. Love calls to love and my heart is your own. Vilja, I've waited so long, lonely with only a song. Vilja, oh let me be true. My little life is a love song to you. Vilja, I've waited so long, lonely with only a song.
Reaching into your community. The great southern sounds of Melbourne, 88.3 Southern FM.
What would a request program of this type be without a track from Jimmy Shand, I ask you? And we heard that time the Strip the Willow medley, The Girl I Left Behind, Miss Forbes's Farewell to Banff, and the 93rd Farewell to Edinburgh. And that was played, of course, by Jimmy Shand and his band. And before that, we heard the lovely Velia from The Merry Widow by Franz Lehar, sung by Smith Ballou and accompanied by his own orchestra, which they recorded on the 13th of October 1934 in New York City. One of my favourite American singers, the late Smith Ballou. 88.3, time is 17 after 8.
I've got a problem I don't like talking about.
Oh, you could write it down.
Yeah, that's the problem.
What's the problem?
Writing.
Writing?
And reading.
Oh, you can't read and write. But that's awful.
Well, it's not my fault.
Oh, of course it's not your fault, but it's never too late to learn.
For free private help with reading and writing, phone the free call Reading Writing hotline on 1800 02 1184. 1800 02 1184.
Go on, call them. You can do it.
17 and a half past 8, 88.3 Southern FM. The Salvation Army in Nala Village are holding their annual Spring Fair next Saturday, the 4th of November, from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. There'll be a lot of traditional stalls, plus an art show and China painting exhibition and sales. The Inala Village is situated at 220 Middleborough Road in South Blackburn. So that's a worthwhile cause for the Salvation Army Inala Village Annual Spring Fair next Saturday. Well, let's have a look. I thought we might play this one. You're listening to Thanks for the Memory, part of your weekend on Southern FM 88.3. Well, now it's request time, and the first request in our program tonight is going out to Mary and Len. A little bird told me that they celebrated 56 years married yesterday. They met when they were 16 years of age and sort of been tracking fairly steady, I guess you could say, ever since. Mary and Len, I wish you all the very best. I know it's a long time to be together, but you're obviously very well suited and you've got a loving family around you. And Len is in the Argyle nursing home, and I understand you haven't been all that well lately, Len, but hang in there, mate. And also I know that Edna and all the ladies are listening from the Malvern Arthritic Shop. Yes, how about that? Gee, my spies do tell me lots and lots of things, and I hope you enjoy the program, ladies. And we're going to play a request for Mary and Len, and I know that one of Len's great loves is Pat Boone. He loves the singing of Pat Boone. So Len, for you, here's Pat Boone, and from 1957, April Love.
April Love is for the very young. Every star's a wishing star that shines for you. April love is all the 7 wonders. One little kiss can tell you this is true. Sometimes an April day will suddenly bring showers, rain to grow the flowers for her first bouquet. But April love can slip right through your fingers, so if she's the one, don't let her run away. comes an April day will suddenly bring showers, rain to grow the flowers for her first bouquet. But April love
Until midnight, you're listening to Thanks for the Memory with Alex Hehr on the great Southern Sounds of Melbourne, Southern FM 88.3.
Of China's funny walls, transatlantic halls, a weekend at Niagara when we hardly saw the falls. How lovely it was. Thanks for the memories of rainy afternoons, swingy Harlem tunes, and motor trips and burning lips and burning toast and prunes. How lovely it was. Many's the time that we feasted, and many's the time that we fasted. Oh, well, it was swell while it lasted. We did have fun, and no harm done. And thanks for the memory of lunch from 12 to 4, sunburn on the shore, that pair of gay pajamas that you bought and never wore. So thank you so much. Memory of sentimental verse, nothing in my purse, and chuckles when the preacher said, for better or for worse. How lovely it was. Thanks for the memory of lather on your face, pipes around the place, and how I jumped the day you trumped my one and only ace. How lovely it was. Letters with sweet little secrets that couldn't be put in a day wire. Too bad it all had to go haywire, but that's all right. I sleep at night. So thanks for the memory and strictly entre nous. Darling, how are you? And how are all the little dreams that never did come true? Awfully glad I met you, cheerio and toodaloo. And thank you so much.
Stay another day in Melbourne and follow the Yarra River down to the sea on a Melbourne ferry any weekend. Sail into the busy dock area where the world's ships gather. Then travel back upstream to the quiet reaches of the river among beautiful Melbourne homes and return to Prince's Bridge.
Won't you stay another day?
Thank you indeed, John Worthy. And yes, worthwhile staying another day. If you're visiting from overseas or from interstate, stay that extra day in Melbourne. Huntingdale Kindergarten in Germain Street, South Oakley, has some vacancies in their Wednesday morning program for 3-year-olds. And you can contact Carol for further details on 563-3823. 563-3823. 9:13 on Southern FM 88.3. I'm Alex Hehr, with you through until midnight, and our program Thanks for the Memory.
Back in the 60s and 70s, many voices rose up protesting about wars and materialism and many other issues of the day. How I long to see and hear people today rise up out of their apathy and give a message of concern about such things as the invasion of East Timor and the continued plight of our Aboriginal people. But somewhere back then, as well as since, we developed a fundamental flaw in our thinking. It's become popular to believe that old thoughts and ideas and principles are quaint, but the new ones are always best. In this generation where kids are sold out to materialism long before adult years, many people never raise their eyes above selfish interests. I believe that ancient tribal wisdom is superior and more relevant to everyday life. We need to link into the human memory of divine love and inspiration, of living lives of commitment to those in need around us. This is John Smith.
Listen. Fisherman on the lake. Open the window.
Can be ours if
You're listening to Thanks for the Memory, part of your weekend on Southern FM 88.3.
Music, information, local news, radio drama. All part of the great Southern Sounds of Melbourne, 88.3 Southern FM.
The 1995 exhibition of Australian model railways will be held this Easter at the Hobson Bay Secondary College, Dank Street, South Melbourne. This will be held on Saturday, the April 15th from 10 a.m. till 6 p.m, Sunday the 16th, 12 noon to 6 p.m, and Monday the 17th from 10 till 6. For further information, you can ring John Gilbert on 584-9696 during business hours or 457-5634 after hours. Admission for adults is $5, concession $2 and family $11.
Thanks, Matt, very much indeed. It's 22 minutes after 9 o'clock now, and I just will go back over the songs we played. The last four, so that that brings us up to date. The most recent recording was at Sundown, George Olsen's music with the trio, recorded in New York in 1927. Then we heard a theme that may have been familiar as You and the Night and the Music. That's how it was later reissued. But that was an earlier recording back in 1934. It was titled Tonight, with Damon Nagel and Trevor Jones, with Geraldo and his orchestra. And of course our theme tune, Thanks for the Memory, but a different version. The Dorothy Lamour version, recorded back in November 1937. And then, of course, She's a Great, Great Girl, a nice boppy tune from Roger Wolf-Kahn and his orchestra, and that song written by Harry Woods back in 1928. It's 23 minutes past 9 at 9:30, Crosby Corner.
Men will still say, this was their finest hour.
Wir haben nun allerdings eine Aufrüstung vollzogen, wie die Welt sie noch nicht gesehen hat.
And that consequently, this country is at war with Germany.
A state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Those are the voices of history. Hear them together with the music of two world wars, the music that changed a world forever.
There'll be bluebirds.
Hello, I'm Alex Hehr, and on Sunday, April 23rd, I'll be presenting a special edition of my program, Thanks for the Memory, in commemoration of Anzac Day and the 50th year since the cessation of hostilities. I hope to have your company on Sunday, April 23rd for a very special edition of Thanks for the Memory between 8 p.m. and midnight on 88.3 Southern FM.
Laughter and peace.
On this day in 1991, British businessman Roger Cooper was released from an Iranian prison after serving 5 years of a 10-year sentence for alleged spying. Also in 1991, Diego Maradona, star of the Napoli football team, flew home to Argentina just hours before he was banned from every sporting activity in Italy after failing a dope test. On this day in 1979, Vietnamese soldiers now occupying Cambodia were showing the world the unspeakable brutality of Khmer Rouge leader Pol Pot's ousted communist regime. Mass graves containing piles of skulls and bones of at least 2,000 people had been found near the town of Stung Treng in northeastern Cambodia. The new Vietnamese-backed administration in the capital Phnom Penh has estimated that 1 million people may have perished during the Pol Pot regime. On this day in 1982, the British South Atlantic dependency of the Falklands Islands surrendered to Argentinian military forces. The Falklands Governor, Rex Hunt, ordered the company of British Marines stationed in the capital Port Stanley to surrender when it became clear that they were massively outnumbered by the invasion force. Observers believe that the military junta in Buenos Aires, led by President Galtieri, may have read silence by the British government as a sign that it was prepared to give up her costly commitment to the 2,000 islanders. On this day in 1792, the first silver dollar of America's new currency was struck in Philadelphia by the Bank of the United States. Each coin contains 371 grains of silver metal. The American eagle on each dollar is a reminder of the fledgling country's determination to establish an identity that owes nothing to Britain. Now let's have a look at some of those people who are having birthdays on this day. The Danish fairy tale writer Hans Christian Andersen was born in 1805. French realist novelist Émile Zola was born in 1840. The British actor Sir Alec Guinness was born in 1914. American soul singer Marvin Gaye was born in 1939. And Emmylou Harris, the American country and pop singer, was born in 1948. It all happened on this day. Well, that'll teach me not to look at the running list. You see, we were having such a good time in here and putting on a great program for all you lovely people out there in the listening land. And then we forgot to play on this day at 9:15. Many apologies.
Every year, severe storms do millions of dollars worth of damage to property. Severe storms can happen anywhere, and they're very scary. Lightning, hailstones as big as golf balls, huge winds, rain in buckets. They can kill people. But there are things you can do and people to turn to. For free pamphlets on how to cope with severe storms, call your local state emergency service.
Thank you, we will indeed. And before we heard from On This Day, we heard the Troubadours out of New York in January 1928. And the song they sang was the George and Ira Gershwin classic, The Man I Love, which they wrote way back in 1924. You're on Southern FM 88.3, listening to Thanks for the Memory. If you're enjoying the program, why not give us a call? Our phone number is 556 4466, and if you haven't rung in before and you're listening, ring in and let us know so we can put it in the book. That makes management very happy indeed.
Where the blue of the night meets the gold of the day, someone waits for me.
And welcome to another presentation of Crosby Corner. Firstly tonight we have a song from 1944 from the pen of Sammy Fain and Irving Carl. Bing with the John Scott Trotter Orchestra sings a very beautiful song, I'll Be Seeing You. He recorded this in Los Angeles on the 17th of February 1944.
all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing in the morning sun.
Jingle of the jungle. All they do is digga-digga-dum-dum, morning, noon and night. And if you will digga-digga-dum-dum, you will do all right. So get that native swing and have a Harlem fling and sing a little jingle of the jungle.
Louis Levy and the Gourmand British Symphony there, and that was called Jingle of the Jungle. The vocalist was the Australian, in fact Melbourne-born, Janet Lind, who died about 5 or 6 years ago now. in Melbourne. She had an antique or objet d'art shop over in North Fitzroy. And Les of East Bentley, I hope you enjoyed that one, Les. Jingle of the Jungle was your request in this evening's program. And don't forget, if you would like a request, 9556 4466. 9556 4466. Give me a call, or you can write in care of Southern FM 88.3 at PO Box 188 Moorabbin 3189. Be happy to play a tune for you. Well, we're a little bit late, but doesn't matter. It's 8 minutes to 9. You're on 88.3 Southern FM. And of course that theme introduces our light music spot for this week, and indeed every week. Tonight, a Robert Farnon melody, one that Robert composed many years ago, called Journey into Melody. And this is a Decca recording featuring Robert Farnon and his orchestra. It's a lovely piece of music, and I do hope that you sit back, relax, and enjoy our light music spot for this evening, Journey into Melody. Until midnight, you're with Thanks for the Memory with Alex Hehr on 88.3 Southern FM.
together, sharing every smile and tear, marching along together, whistling till the skies are clear, swinging along the highway, over the road that's wide. Without a bugle, without a drum, we meet to taste the jinx. Oh, rumpty-tiddly, here we come, we're happy hinky-dinks, marching along together. Life is wonderful side by side.
Company, all in, right. One, right. Smile, lad. 1, 2, 1, 2, up. One, left, right. Skip it. Hey, take your eyes off those gals. Head, up. Left, right. Squat dress. With a piccolo and a drum, we'll have a lot of fun. Oh, rum-ti-tiddly, here we come. Hey, Winchell, you'd better run. Marching along together. Yowza, life is wonderful side by side.
Until midnight, you're listening to Thanks for the Memory with Alex Hehr on the great Southern Sounds of Melbourne, Southern FM 88.3. And we heard that time from Ben Burney and all the lads in a 1932 song called Marching Along Together in 6/8 time. And that was written back in 32 by Mort Dixon, Ed Poehler and Franz Steininger. It's 9:30, and the Bonnie Babies Foundation Incorporated is a non-profit organisation established to counsel families who are grieving after the loss of a baby from either miscarriage, stillbirth or prematurity. The foundation provides a 24-hour grief crisis line and group counselling service. For further inquiries, you can phone 9764 2509. 9764 2509. 9 o'clock in Melbourne. And now, on Thanks for the Memory, it's time for Alex Hehr's Hall of Fame. Yes, Hall of Fame for the 29th of October 1995, and we look at the births and deaths of prominent people throughout history who passed away on this day. Firstly, let's do the births. Daniel Amfiretorov, the composer and conductor from Russia. He was born on this day in 1901. James Boswell, the Scottish writer, was born on this day in 1780. The American actress and comedienne Fanny Brice was born in 1891. American actor Richard Dreyfuss was born in 1947. The American singer and musician Kevin DeBrow was born in 1955. The British composer and author Vivian Ellis, who wrote such things as Bless the Bride, he was born in 1904. Daniel Emmett was a minstrel and composer who was born in Ohio in the United States on this day in 1815. Jean Giraudoux, the French author, was born in 1882. The Nazi propaganda chief was Joseph Goebbels, of course, and he was born in Germany in 1897. American musician Neil Hefti was born in 1922. The American musician and singer Sonny Osborne, born in 1937. Australian tennis player Frank Sedgman, born on this day in 1927. And finally in the births, the musician from America Zoot Sims was born in 1925. And now the deaths, let's have a look at those. Dwayne Allman of the Allman Brothers Band. He died, I think it was in a motorcycle accident in Macon, Georgia on this day in 1971. The American dancer Evelyn Anderson died on this day in 1994. Wellman Broad, the American musician, also died in 1966. Edward Hargraves, the famous Australian publicist and gold discoverer, who was born in the UK but ended his life, of course, here in Australia in 1891. Andrew Miller-Jones, the TV and film publisher, was from the United Kingdom, died in 1994. And John C. Wilson, the American producer and director, died in 1961. There they are, the births and deaths for today, the 29th of October.
As a phone user, you now have access to the Telecommunications Industry Ombudsman, an independent office established to help settle any unresolved complaints or disputes you may have with your telephone company. The Telecommunications Ombudsman is a last resort free service for those telephone complaints that seem unsolvable. If you have a complaint, you can call the Ombudsman's office toll-free on 1-800-062-058. That's 1-800-062-058. An industry ombudsman for phone users.
You're tuned to the great southern sounds of Melbourne, 88.3 Southern FM.
We thought that love was over, that we were really through. I said I didn't love her, that we'd begin anew. And you can all believe me, we sure intended to, but we just couldn't say goodbye. The chair and then the sofa, they broke right down and cried. The curtain started waving for me to come inside. I'll tell you confidentially, the tears were hard to hide, and we just couldn't say goodbye. The clock was striking 12 o'clock, it smiled on us below. With folded hands it seemed to say, we'll miss you if you go. So I went back and kissed her, and when I looked around, the room was singing love songs and dancing up and down. And now we're both so happy, because at last we found that we just couldn't say goodbye.
another day in Melbourne and follow the Yarra River down to the sea on a Melbourne ferry any weekend. Sail into the busy dock area where the world's ships gather. Then travel back upstream to the quiet reaches of the river among beautiful Melbourne homes and return to Prince's Bridge.
Won't you stay another day?
Got me on the brink of a new affair, and though I'm in the pink for a new affair, I don't know what to think of a new affair with you. Oh, what can I do? Fall in love, says my heart. It's romance, take a chance, says my heart. But each time that I'm almost in your arms, this old school teacher brain of mine keeps ringing in false alarms. Then my head rules instead, and I'm wise to the scheme of that gleam in your eyes. So I kiss and run, but the moment we're apart, oh, you fool, that was love, says my heart. Fall in love, says my heart. It's romance, take a chance, says my heart. But each time that I'm almost in your arms, this old school teacher heart of mine keeps ringing in false alarms. And my head rules instead, and I'm wise to the scheme of that gleam in your eyes. So I kiss and I run, but the moment we're apart, oh, you fool, that was love, says my heart.
Yes, indeed, says my heart. And that was Turner Layton and Clarence Johnston, who were American musicians and singers. They went to London in 1924, had quite a prolific recording career over there. And the song they gave us tonight was Says My Heart, written back in 1938 by Frank Lesser and Burton Lane. And before that we heard Jack Plant singing with the Savoy Hotel Orpheans, and the 1932 Harry Woods song We Just Couldn't Say Goodbye, which they recorded in London on the 13th of September 1932. It's 10 minutes past 9, with 88.3 Southern FM.
The greatest cleanser discovery ever, new Super Ajax, a completely new and different foaming cleanser. Super Ajax is fortified with Blancafon, the wonder bleach, to make sinks, basins, baths super white, super clean.
New Super Ajax, the foaming cleanser, with Blancafon, the wonder bleach.
Today buy Super Ajax fortified with Blancafon.
Oh gosh, oh gee, Tacker-Box is the food for me. I bark with glee, Tacker-Box is the food for me. Only 1 and 3 a tin, full of vitamins and full of vim. Oh gosh, oh gee, Tacker-Box is the food for me.
I'll remember those old ads from the 50s and the 60s, of course. And that brought our time along now to 11 minutes after 9, and more music just prior to On This Day.
Hello, it's 88.3 Southern FM. I'm Peter James. Welcome.
You made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it.
You made me want you, and all the time you knew it. I guess you always knew it. You made me happy sometimes. You made me glad. But there were times, dear, you made me feel so bad. You made me sigh for, I didn't want to tell you, I didn't want to tell you. I want some love that's true, yes I do, indeed I do, you know I do. Give me what I cry for, you know you got the brand of kisses that I'd die for. You know you made me love you. I didn't want to do it, I didn't want to do it. You made me want you, and all the time you knew it. I guess you always knew it. You made me happy sometimes, you made me glad. But there were times, dear, you made me feel so bad. You made me sigh for, I didn't want to tell you, I didn't want to tell you. I want some love that's true, yes I do, indeed I do, you know I do. Give me what I cry for, you know you got the brand of kisses that I'd die for. You know you made me love you.
Music, information, local news, radio drama. All part of the great Southern Sounds of Melbourne, 88.3 Southern FM.
And it's 14 after 9. We heard Chick Bullock and a recording that they made in 1937 in New York of You Made Me Love You. Wonderful old song from the year 1913. Chick Bullock, and good to hear him. Now, there'll be a phantom call of the Melbourne Cup. Yes, the Lions Club of Beaumaris is holding a phantom call of the Melbourne Cup and a Cup Calcutta at the Beaumaris RSL on Cup Eve, Monday the 6th of November at 7:30pm. The cost is $18 per person for a two-course dinner. Tables of 8 are available, and all RSL and Rotary Club members are welcome. Enter the Spring Racing Carnival spirit and phone 9580-0167 with your booking for a table. 9580-0167. Coming up to 9:15 now with 88.3, it's time for our regular feature at this time, On This Day. On this day in 1914, Prince Louis Alexander of Battenberg, Britain's first Sea Lord, announced his resignation. The 60-year-old admiral had been forced to resign because of his German birth. On this day in 1982, Lindy Chamberlain, who had claimed that her baby Azaria had been taken by a dingo, was found guilty of murder by a court in Darwin. Mrs. Chamberlain, 34, who was expecting her fourth baby, was sentenced to life imprisonment with hard labour. Her husband, Michael, a Seventh-day Adventist pastor, was found guilty of being an accessory after the fact. On this day in 1618, Sir Walter Raleigh, the English adventurer and writer, was executed for treason at the Tower of London. He was 54. Raleigh, who had come to prominence during the reign of Queen Elizabeth, whose favourite he became. Lucrative monopolies, properties and influential posts ebbed and flowed with the tide of her affections. When the possessive Elizabeth discovered that Raleigh had secretly married, she cast him and his wife into the Tower. He managed to buy their release and he returned to adventuring overseas.
His aggressive policies towards Spain led James I to believe he was plotting to overthrow him, and this ultimately led to his demise. On this day in 1929, the crisis of confidence that had hit the New York stock market reached epic proportions. By the end of trading, over 16.4 million sales had taken place, driving the Dow Jones Index down rapidly. A further 43 points and wiping out the unprecedented stock market gains of the past year, with investment trusts suffering the most. Financial leaders had hoped that by pooling resources they could arrest the decline. Out-of-town banks are estimated to have withdrawn over $2 billion from Wall Street. And now look at some of those people who were born on this day throughout history. The Scottish writer and biographer James Boswell was born in 1780. American Broadway star Fanny Brice, whose life was immortalised in the musical Funny Girl, was born in 1891. Nazi propaganda chief Joseph Goebbels was born in 1897. And the American film actor Richard Dreyfuss was born in 1949. It all happened on this day.
Reaching into your community. The great Southern Sounds of Melbourne, 88.3 Southern FM.
To dear old Maine, shout till the rafters ring. Stand and drink a toast once again. Let every loyal Maine man sing. Then drink to all the happy hours. Drink to the careless days. Drink to Maine, our alma mater, the college of our hearts always. To the trees, to the sky, to the spring and its glorious happiness, to the youth, to the fire, to the life that is moving and calling us, to the gods, to the fates, to the rulers of men and their destinies, to the lips, to the eyes, to the girls who will love us someday. Oh, fill the steins to dear old Maine.